Okay, it's moon time. Moon time. Hope you can hear me. I'm using a new mic. If you can hear me, just put in a comment saying you can hear me. It's testing out new high-tech systems today. Okay, so we got a lot of interesting things happening today. Markets doing a turnaround Tuesday. Turnaround Tuesday after very strong days last week. Let's see what's going on. Is this, a lot of investors, we've been faked out so many times on this way down the last 6, 7 months that, a lot of, okay, Rafael, a lot of investors are just, they've been whipsawed so many times. They see these uptrends that turn into failed rallies that you can't blame them. You can't blame them. Look, what's happening right now kind of looks very similar to what we saw in April, right? Very similar. You had this takeoff. The same thing over here, right? I mean, we've had a bunch of these fake outs. Actually, no, this was right here back in April. Another one here in May. And then it went much lower, right? It was a fake out. It broke below the moving average. So the question is, I think everybody's concern is this going to be another market fake out, or is this finally have we seen the bottom? Look, I'm of the belief that based on the chart action that we've seen in a bunch of these stocks, like the momentum stocks, like the DraftKings, the FUBOs of the world, stuff like that, Carvana, etc., AMD, Uber. I think we've seen the bottom. I think we've seen the bottom. This is not gonna be it's not gonna go straight. The market absolutely is not gonna go straight up. It's gonna have pullbacks, and it's gonna climb a wall of worry. We might have a couple of days of a sell-off before things turn around. Let's take a look. Let's zoom in on the 4-hour chart. Okay, so you got support coming in on Nasdaq, about 12,300, I would say 12,300 range. So we might see a sell-off for 1 or 2 days. You could bounce from that support again right here in this kind of. You get a bunch of support, and then you get the moving average chart. This is on the short-term chart. We're breaking, yeah. So this makes sense. So breaking down on the 50 moving average on the daily. So very likely to test support levels in that kind of 12,000. We could see a decent sell-off. Wouldn't be surprising. I think the main thing you want to watch is this, I would say, 12,000 level. 12,000 level. If we break below that, it's probably going to test the lows over here that we saw in May. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I don't think that's going to happen. We got so much momentum in, again, the stocks I'm watching right now. These are the speculative bellwethers. These are the stocks I've been talking about for the last 3 months. DraftKings, the ARCs, those guys. Teladoc's not super strong, but let's go back to DraftKings or AMC. AMC is another perfect example. So AMC. So let's first look at DraftKings. I mean, it's had an amazing breakout. There we go. Amazing breakout last couple of days. We're doing a normal pullback. So look, if we broke out, okay, so the stock ran from, let's call it, the bottom was, 10. It went to almost 20, 10. Could drop $10 to 3.60. I would say it could drop easily to like this maybe $16 level, even $15 level. We might see a test of into like $14.50, $15. I wouldn't be shocked. If that happened. But I believe the trend on DraftKings is definitely up. Let's take a look what's going on here. Okay, there we go. So DraftKings, I think the trend is up. We could see a pullback again, $15. We could definitely retest it. Would not be surprised at all. But look, hey, the main event today, NEXCF, NEXCF. Obviously it's a client company, right? So we have to give them a plug, but that's not the only reason we have them on. Look, the goal with Wall Street Reporter has always been to bring you stocks which have that 10x to 100x upside, right? And we've had quite a few of these 10 baggers, 20 baggers, 50 baggers, even 100 baggers. I mean, well, those don't count because that was, those were little back, took a while, not quite the same, but we actually have had. If you've been watching Wall Street Reporter for all these years, you would have had a few hundred baggers. That's Rick's Cabaret and the Taser, now known as Axon. So took a while, right? So that's why I always say you want to, once you have a 10x, 20x, take the money and run. Maybe leave a little bit on the table, a little bit. Okay, let me see here. Let's go into let's dive into the NEXCF chart. Okay, look, what's happening right now is this thing is taking off, right? We just broke out of resistance. We just broke out of Q resistance. Well, let me show you what this looks like. Let me give you a visual metaphor for what this chart is showing. And I hope this is not going to be too over promotional, but let me show you. Let me show you what exactly we're looking at. Let me give you a visual metaphor because you need a visual metaphor. Let me just show you this. Okay, hang on. Let me stop screen. Share screen. Share. Hang on. Stand by. Don't go away. Okay, here we go.
And first men on the moon. We're on time at the present time for our plane liftoff of 2 minutes past the hour.
This is it. This is basically it.
Swing arm up at the spacecraft level.
Let me give you the
retracted position. This should occur at the 5-minute mark in the count. The swing arm now coming back.
Hang on.
Continues. Skip T-minus 1 minute 35 seconds.
This is a long one. Sorry, I gotta get you the express one.
T-minus 60 seconds.
Wait, here we go.
Counting. We passed T-minus.
The engine, it builds. This is what's happening with NEXCF right now. It's slowly. The takeoff is slow. The rocket lifts off slowly first. Right? It's slow. This is what the NEXCF chart looks like, basically. It's, the rocket is lifting off. And let's go back to the chart. I don't want this to seem too promotional. Stand by 1 second here. Let's go back to the chart. Okay, so what you're seeing now, this thing on the chart, is basically the part where those connectors on the rocket. I don't know what they're called, but they kind of come off, and then it's slowly starting to move, and moving. It looks like it's slow, but it's pretty fast. But that's what's going on right now. We just broke out of a Q resistance level. We touched around, what is it, $1.02, $1.03 today. This thing is on the move. It's been below. Let me see, 1, 2, 3. This is the highest we're seeing today, the highest price we've seen in a couple of weeks. So the pullback is over. What this market is telling you right now. Let me show you the candles. Let me show you the candles. I mean, some of you guys don't understand. You only understand the Japanese. So what's going on is this: we had massive takeoff. The stock tripled in less than 30 days. Normally, you're going to see a pullback. We're pulling back and now bouncing off. We didn't even touch the moving average, and it's already taking off. Very, very bullish. Look, I hope I'm able to articulate it. I can't articulate any better than this. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go to another former super stock, FUBO. Look, I'm bullish on this FUBO, right? We're seeing a bit of a pullback. Okay, so yesterday, wow, $4. We touched $4. I mean, I told you guys this was going to break out. I mean, 285. You could have bought it at 290 all day long. That was a nice little swing trade. I think we're going to pull back a little bit here before this thing takes off. How high can FUBO go? I believe we're going to see, my opinion, again, not advice. My opinion is we're going to see probably, I think we could go to $30, but at least somewhere around $17. So the first real resistance is going to be in this kind of like $17 range on FUBO. You're going to see resistance at $17. Very, very possible to see $17 resistance. I would not be shocked. Would not be shocked at all. But I think we're going to get to $17. Again, they're not a client. I own some shares I bought here, so that's the disclaimer. Okay, I don't have any. They're not a client anymore. They were about 2 years ago. So we introduced the stock. It was $10 or not. No, I think it was $9, and then it hit $60. I mean, it took a while. It took a few months. It was kind of going like this. Finally, it got moving. Okay, so what's going on with FUBO? Let's take a look. There we go. Okay, so we're pulling back. Probably, I would say first level of support is going to be in this 350, 325 range. 325. We might even test $3. I think we're going to test $3. What you want to watch with FUBO is to see if it sticks around. Like how much support is there in that $3 range? Do we see another wave of buying? If so, that's going to be very bullish. But it's very normal for these things to have a quick shakeout to get some of the weak hands out of it and to get moving. By the way, another client company, XTM, paid. This chart looking very bullish right now. MACD about to cross over, very, very bullish. And of course, as a fintech company, I think they were in the right place at the right time here. And what do? Essentially, it's kind of like an app. They work with restaurants, service businesses. So that if you're an employee there, you're getting tips, wages, whatever it is. Their app makes it so you get your tips same day. So let's say you're one of these cocktail waitresses in Las Vegas, right? Yeah, some of these people can make $500 a day, $1,000 a day, right? And their app makes it possible so you get paid that day. So you could, I don't know, do whatever you need to do, right? You got to pay your bills. But that's an extreme example. The real example, look, people that work in a restaurant, they're just pool tips. Let's say you're a busboy, let's say you're a waiter, whatever it is. You're making a couple $100 a day. Those tips are really important, especially with the gas prices so high. People need to get to work, and this is making a real big difference in people's lives. So, very bullish, very bullish. Look at this beautiful chart, beautiful, beautiful chart. This is the Canadian chart, by the way. The US is XTMIF, XTMIF. Okay, so again, I'm showing you the Canadian chart right now on NEXCF, 1 hour. Let's go to the daily. By the way, here's another thing you want to look at: MACD crossing over. MACD crossing over. That's a bullish signal. Last time we saw the MACD crossover was when? When was the last time? Right here, my friends. June 16th. And then the stock ran from, let's call it 50 cents to $1.20, $1.30 Canadian. So it doubled. Also, before that, it was right here, May 26th. So it went from, let's call it, I don't know, 35 cents to 75 cents. Is that a double? Crazy. Yeah, so this MACD about to cross over, very, very bullish. Keep your eye on that. I'm just telling you. It's I don't make these things up. It's the chart. The chart does not lie. Okay, so FUBO. How about Coinbase? What's going on with Coinbase? I'm really glad this thing is selling off because I really hate this stock. Okay, I think we're going to close this gap here. Big sell-off. Big sell-off. This is such a volatile stock. This is crazy. I think we might test, at least we're going to go to 75. For sure, we're going to 75 before we get to some support. Yeah, we got to close this gap, I think, on this Coinbase. So 75 bucks, that's where your first level of support is, kind of in this yeah, I think 75 bucks. We're going to test 75 bucks on Coinbase. And then let's see what happens. I mean, this company is pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting company, Coinbase. I got shaken out of that stock. Took a big loss, took a big beating on Coinbase. I should have just sold it right when it broke below the moving average. That's what happens when you don't. Okay, what's going on with Uber? Again, a lot of these things are they had big runs and they're pulling back. Uber is actually very strong. This is pretty interesting. Uber, to me, this says, you know what? I don't know. This 4-hour chart's pretty bullish. This Uber doesn't really want to go down. Look at this. It really does not want to go down. Yeah, we're below the moving average here, but it doesn't want to go down. I mean, this Uber has a lot of strength. What can I tell you? Yeah, Uber, very, very strong stock. We might consolidate here a little bit. I wouldn't buy it here, frankly. I wouldn't be buying Uber here. I think we got better trades. I think. How about AMC? How about AMC? What did I tell you? By the way, did I tell you the stock was going to go crazy once it broke out of this? I mean, this thing, it doesn't make any sense. What's the fundamentals? I don't know fundamentals, but it broke. What did it hit? It hit $27. If you look at the live streams a couple of days ago, I was telling you, when this thing breaks out of this long downtrend, look, this is the trend line I was telling you about. I was telling you about this trend line. Look back at the videos the last couple of days. So you got, this was the trend line. This is the big one. You got, no, this was, okay, so you got one here. You got another one over here. You got this one here. And, it pretty much broke out of all those. You got another one here, potentially here. Here we go. How do I do this? Yeah. I mean, there's only, this thing could go to like $40. Could go to 40 bucks. There's very little resistance. Again, it's just like the NEXCF chart. When I talk about these support resistance lines, as soon as that thing broke out of that resistance, especially the moving average, the MACD crossover, I mean, everything was set up. Why didn't I buy that stock? I just don't trust it. It's like, I mean, I know it's the chart, but it's like, I like to have fundamentals. I like to have my charts to have a little bit of I want to have, charts that have a little bit of a fundamental story. You got to have two things at once, and then you can have, I want to have the odds as stacked as much sort of, in your favor as possible, right? Because, you got to have as many of these edges as possible. And so AMC, I just don't believe in their fundamentals. Yeah, I mean, this thing ran. I mean, if I go back in time, would I buy it? No, because I gotta have some sort of fundamental story. And again, I don't trust their fundamentals. Could it go to 40 bucks? I think it can. I just think there's better trades in, like, the DraftKings, the FUBOs of the world, the NEXCF, NEXCF, the client company. How about what are we looking at here? AMD. So AMD selling off. Where are we going? Again, let's see what happens. It could test, we could see a test of the 90 level. So we're going into an interesting time right now. We're going into an interesting time with a bunch of these stocks. We could see this week be the last shakeout. It's I think it's a make it or break it week. I'll put it that way. It's a make it or break it week where we see stocks. They're going to test. They broke out. Now they're pulling back, a little bit of a shakeout. Let's see if this is just a little bit of a shakeout or was it a fake out? And we're going to know, I think, by the end of this week. Exactly what is what happened there, right? So on a stock like AMD, you want to watch the moving average. If this thing crosses below the moving average, definitely that's a massive sell signal. And I think people are gonna dump these things hard if they manage to fall. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. I'll tell you what I don't like about the AMD chart right now. I don't like the way, it's such an aggressive sell-off. If you look at this compared to what I was showing you before with the Uber chart, right? The Uber chart, it's kind of like this, it's going down, but it's very slowly. It's just very gradual. Whereas this thing, it's almost like panic selling. What you're seeing with AMD is kind of like a panic selling, people just, get me out. Uber seems, just compare the angle of decline, right? That acceleration. This AMD much more aggressive sell-off. So I think we could definitely test easily $90, 88. Yeah, I would say 88. Okay, so this is what is it? Taiwanese stock, Chinese, whatever it is, Americans. I don't even know. I think the CEO is from Taiwan. So 88 will be an interesting number to watch. See if it holds support in that 88 zone. That's where the moving average is on this 4-hour. 88. If it holds up 88, you may have a lot of buying come in. If it breaks below the 88, that will not be auspicious. It will not be auspicious. Okay, let's wrap up with Carvana. Carvana. We had a really interesting move over the last few days, right? In the Carvana. Ooh, interesting. Look at this. Wait. It's pretty interesting. This Carvana. Okay, so compare the charts. Compare what you were looking at just now with AMD versus Carvana. And AMD is a real business. AMD is a real company. Carvana is like a Fugazi. It's, they used, for God's sake, they're used car dealers. This is the lowest of the low. These used car dealers. They're basically used car dealers with a website. That's what Carvana is. With, glass towers with cars, whatever. Now. But the Carvana chart is a lot stronger. That's the interesting thing. Even Uber is a bit of a Fugazi, right? What is Uber? But compared to AMD, those charts are much stronger. This Carvana, it looks like it doesn't really want to go down. I think we might be seeing a good entry point here. This thing doesn't want to go down. Yeah, it really does not want to go down. This might be a buying opportunity here. Might be. We're below the moving average, but it's holding on really strong. So is it possible that we saw the bottom in Carvana? Again, there's fundamentals. I like it a little bit better than AMC. We might, I think we could, let's see what happens in the next few days. If Carvana turns around, that could be super bullish. If we get an update tomorrow, that might be the breakout. But again, this thing is in bull mode. It's had a big move already. Look at this, from 26. It's basically doubled in like 2 weeks. So 25. So could it drop to $35? I think it can. I mean, I think it can. It doesn't want to. It's kind of like the way NEXCF, after the big move up, it was pulling back. I mean, like, it had to sell off, but didn't really want to sell off. Like I was telling you guys this for the last couple of weeks. Like, look at the way this thing declined, right? You had the very classic sell-off after a bull run, consolidation, and now it's the march back up. Look at this. It's marching. This is the march. Day after day after day, higher, higher, higher closes. It's in an uptrend. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I mean, the chart does not lie. Look at this. Here's the weekly. It's going to be very interesting if we break out of this dollar. What do we got? A good $1.25. Yeah, $1.25 is the big number here. If next time we break out of $1.25, this thing could explode. By the way, there's an analyst report from H.C. Wainwright, respectable firm. I mean, they've raised billions of dollars for companies in the last couple of years. H.C. Wainwright. The analyst there has a target of 250 American. That's on NEXCF, right? That's the American symbol. NEXCF. He's got a 250 target on it. Now, why is he allowed to give price targets and I'm not? You got to ask the Canadian government about that. It's a very, the broker dealer. Explain this to me. Somebody needs to explain this thing with these arbitrary, capricious regulations that are harmful to investors. Actually, the Canadian government is harming investors by not, allowing for market transparency and liquidity, with market participants being able to voice opinions. Apparently, they don't have free speech in Canada. That's right. There is no free speech in Canada. I mean, look just what was going on with the COVID thing, right? I mean, they were locking people up for the last 2 years. It's amazing. And how does this government stay? How do they stay in power? I think this Trudeau is actually the son of Fidel Castro. There was a report that came out. Very possible that he is the illegitimate child of Fidel Castro. We know he's a leftist. There's a comparison pictures. Very likely that Trudeau is, and he doesn't look like his father, right? He doesn't look like the old man Trudeau. He looks closer to Fidel Castro. So it's probably, Trudeau's mom had an affair with Fidel Castro. And next thing you know, you got the baby dictator up north. Anyway, so bottom line is NEXCF, very bullish, very, very bullish. The analyst has a $2.50 price target. H.C. Wainwright. You know what? Should I find that report? Let me see if I can find the report. Let me just show you. Let me read this report to you, so you know what I'm talking about. I don't want you to think, God forbid, that I'm just making this stuff up, right? Hang on a second. Don't go away. Don't leave. Let me pull this up. Let me pull up this report. Wait, we got the Trudeau. Let me see. Where is this report? Okay, here we go. Stand by. Let's go. Let's go to the report. Okay, there is the report. That is the analyst report from H.C. Wainwright. Okay, what are they saying? Hang on. Okay, $2.50 price target on NEXCF. That would be the equivalent of like $3, Canadian, right? So which makes complete sense to exactly what we're saying. So this report came out just recently, right? Scott Buck, I met the guy, very respectable guy, very smart guy. H.C. Wainwright, again, it's a real firm. They've been in business since 1868. That's right. Okay, so let's get to kind of it's a pretty quick report, but let's get to the meat and potatoes of it. Okay, so he likes the spin out of Arway. announced spin out of spatial mapping platform potentially unlocks value. Standalone indicated and we believe new contracts should be announced in the next 60 days. We also believe the standalone high margin mapping business is likely to warrant a higher trading multiple. That's right. Should this initial spin out prove successful, the company has additional assets, that's, whatever has been talking about, other spin outs, which may also be suitable for a similarly structured spin out. Okay. Hang on. Let me. There we go. What else is he saying? Meaningful progress, core 3D business. Okay, he talks about, we believe the addition of the Amazon, that's the Amazon deal that NEXCF has, provides both additional credibility to the company's 3D modeling software and a significant opportunity to continue to grow this modeling business. Yeah, because, Amazon is best of breed. When they're doing these 3D models for Amazon, and anybody and the grandmother who's selling online, e-commerce, that's 5 trillion. They see what the leader is doing. Amazon is the leader, right? That's the leader. When you see what the leader is doing, you copy the leader. So I think that could drive a lot of business to NEXCF. Okay, transition to 3D models from 2D among is largely driven by meaningfully higher conversion rates, as well as significantly lower product returns. Customers can now try before they buy. Right. We get a massive trend. Valuation attractive, given multiple path to profitability. We're valuing NEXCF shares at $250 right now. He's saying NEXCF is worth $250 at this moment, reflecting a 10x EV enterprise value to revenue multiple. Yeah, 10 times multiple. Okay, 10 times revenue. Based on, okay, so Scott is estimating that NEXCF is going to do 30 million revenues with this, I guess, the 3D model business. And yeah, our price target represents 250% upside from recent trading levels. Slight premium, but because it's AR 8x. However, given the accelerating demand for 3D models, we believe this premium is warranted in the near term. As the company delivers meaningful revenue growth and improves gross margin expansion, we believe new investors should be attracted to NEXCF shares. In addition, we suspect positive news flow, including new contracts, near-term catalysts. Hey, what have I been telling you guys? What have I been telling you? Michael is saying that Arway is a spinoff so Evan can sell to Google Maps. Hey, if they sell for, I don't know, 500 million, a billion, why not? I mean, Google can write a check for a billion like that. I mean, I don't know, why not? They can sell the main company 3D models to Amazon, okay? Look, the bottom line is we have a track record. Evan Gappelberg, CEO of NEXCF, has shown a track record of a focus for maximizing shareholder value. I mean, he is relentlessly focused on maximizing shareholder value, which is, that's the job of the CEO. That's the job of the board of directors. I mean, that's what you expect, right? But why is it so rare with public companies? I mean, a lot of these guys, a lot of these CEOs who run public companies, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know that their job is to maximize the stock price. In theory, it's out there, but it's sort of like not something they think about every day. Whereas I think when Evan wakes up in the morning, he says, okay, what do I need to do to make the stock go to $10? That's probably what the way the guy wakes up every day, right? Which is what we need. We want to ride the coattails. We want we want to be on his team. So yeah, I mean, he's focused on maximum, and we're seeing it happen. Amazon, we want the yeah. Look, I think that spin out is going to be very, very valuable. I mean, look, we're seeing the value of this type of thing with that stock VERS, VERS. I mean, that gives you a comp. That company's trading at a 50 million valuation, and they got nothing. That Verse on the Neo Exchange, it's vaporware basically. It's a fugazi. I'm telling you right now that Verse, that stock is a fugazi. It's a pump. It's a pump and dump. I mean, they're trying. Look, we know the game, right? The Canadian thing, they got very little. We know the game, right? I'm not saying it's a fraud. I don't think, as far as I know, it's not a fraud. Okay, I just think it's a typical Canadian pump job. Okay, Verse, but what is it showing? It's kind of a knockoff of this Arway. Very similar business, similar type of business model, a little different though. But I think that's a good comp. If the market's willing to pay 50 million for Verse, surely they'd want to pay 50 million for Arway, right? Which very valuable for NEXCF. So very, very positive. Yes. I agree. Arway. Yeah, this Arway thing could be huge. It could really, really be huge. So really huge stuff. Let's go to back to the thing here. Okay, so bottom line is, look, H.C. Wainwright, and by the way, these analysts, they're really conservative, right? These guys are super conservative. I mean, they don't give away ice in the wintertime, all right? They're super conservative. I'm shocked that this guy would actually, go out on a limb of saying 250 price target, which I agree with, by the way. I agree with that price target. It makes perfect sense, especially if you look at the chart. Does this $2.50 price target make sense? Let's take a look at the chart. Let's see. Let's see. Let's take a look at this chart. Hang on, stand by. Let me go back to the let's stop screen, share screen. Hang on. Oh. Okay, hang on a second. Stand by. Let me go back to this. Where is my chart? There we go. Boom. Okay. So let's see. Does what Scott's saying make sense? Can NEXCF go to $2.50, which is what H.C. Wainwright is saying? And by the way, H.C. Wainwright has raised, they raised $10 million plus for NEXCF back in January. And yeah, I mean, the way the deal was structured was, with the hedge fund, whatever. But they believed in NEXCF enough to, they put their name behind it to help them get $10 million American. $10 million American, that's real money, right? Okay, so let's take a look. Can NEXCF go to $2.50, like Scott is saying? I'm not saying it. I mean, I'd like to say it, but the Canadian government is censoring me. They're not allowing price target discussion, which is, I don't know. Is that a violation of the Canadian Constitution? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Very arbitrary, which is why, I advise companies. I do a lot of companies that are going to be going public. That want to go public. I say, stay away from Canada. I mean, they think, oh, should we go on the CSC? TSX? I say, stay away. TSX is the absolute worst. Just go on the OTC bulletin board, then get on NASDAQ. Just avoid the whole Canadian capital markets. You don't want. You're dealing with these petty, little petty tyrants. In BC and Toronto. You don't need this. You want to deal with free country, right? Okay. So let's draw the trend lines. Green. Should we use green? Okay. Let's do a couple of trend lines. Let's do some new trend lines. Does this line make sense? Yeah, that's a good line. Okay. How about this? Let's do the downtrend. This was the downtrend. Okay, that's number one. You got number two. Okay, I would say, yeah, it's right over here. Yeah, that was it. Okay, you got another one. Let me see, coming in. Yeah, kind of. All right, let's just leave it right there. Whatever. How about over here? Okay. Yeah, I would say, what is this showing you? There's no resistance between here and $3 American. There's no resistance. Where's the resistance? Show it to me. Show me the resistance. Show it to me. I don't see it. And these are trend lines, okay? I mean, there is it could be subjective, whatever. Maybe I'm biased, you could talk all day long, you could whatever. But I don't see no trend lines. I don't see no trend lines here between here and $3, okay? No resistance lines. Maybe a little bit at $1.50, maybe a little bit just because psychologically, you had that previous high, maybe a little bit, very minor stuff. Very, very minor, but still, that's a double. That's a double. So in other words, that's a double from where the stock is right now. That would be like $2 and change Canadian dollars, right? So, I mean, the chart doesn't lie. The analyst could lie. This analyst at and Wainwright could be, could be lying. Maybe, I wouldn't trust any analyst. What he's saying does make sense, but the chart is telling us. The chart is telling us the stock wants to go higher. Let's look at the weekly. It's a beautiful chart. So the trend lines here, yeah, I guess some of them kind of work. Yeah, they kind of do work. So we need to break out of $1 on the American chart. We need to break out of $1. That's the 50 moving average. If NEXCF manages to break out of $1, it's game on. It's game on. If it manages to break out of $1, that's the 50 moving average. That's the key thing you're looking at right now. If we break out of that, it's going to be very, very, very exciting. Very exciting. There you go. $1. That's all we need. That's only like 25 cents from here. It's nothing. Again, once this, I think here's what's going to happen. Again, I'm not making any projections. I'm not saying any whatever. But if NEXCF manages to break out of $1, it could potentially go to, that $3 level very quickly because there's no resistance. It's an air pocket. It's a vacuum. It's something I've been talking about for a month already, more than a month. That's what makes this thing so compelling. Let's go back here. PKK. It's interesting. Let's take a look at PKK. We haven't done anything with PKK in a long time. Wow, look at this. PKK. This is bullish. I mean, what can I tell you? Whoa. Breakout. I have no involvement with PKK. I don't own any stock. We have no contract. We got nothing with PKK. But as Michael's pointing out, the chart does not lie. When you got a breakout of the 50 moving average like this on accelerating volume, that's bullish. That's bullish. There is, let's look at the downtrend. Let's look at so you got one, you got bullish. I mean, what can I tell you? What can I tell you? This thing could pop. Could it go to $5 potentially? I have no idea. I don't know what the fundamentals are. I don't know anything about it. But the chart looks good. Chart looks good. There you go. So let's go back now to our favorite stock for again. Let's go to NEXCF and what else is moving? What other stocks are moving right now? Let's close out with let me see. Let's close out with let me look at FUBO again, real quick. Yeah, so FUBO, okay, still pulling back. Let's see the Uber, which doesn't want to go down really. Yeah, it doesn't really want to go down. It might test $30, doesn't want to go down. AMC real quick, and we'll wrap up. Yeah, AMC. Pulling back. Yeah, that's it. That's it. NEXCF, NEXCF. Okay, I will see you on the next live stream. Thank you for joining.